Look on the particular phylum Annelida earthworm. Scientific name Peritima postuma. So let's start the hierarchy for the earthworm. So I'm coming from the kingdom onwards here. The kingdom it belongs to earthworm
Animalia.
belongs to the kingdom.
Animalia.
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 What's there in it? Animalia. Okay. Subkingdom.
Eumetazoa.
Eumetazoa.
Eumetazoa. Subkingdom. Eumetazoa. Okay. Very good. Then grade.
Bilateral.
Bilateria or triploblastica.
Grade. Bilateria or triploblastica. Grade bilateria or triploblastica. Okay. Next, division.
Protostomia.
Protostomia.
Division, protostomia. Division, protostomia. Okay. Subdivision,
Schizophrenia.
Schizophyllometa. Subdivision, Schizophyllometa. Okay. So kingdom, Animalia. Subkingdom, Eumetazoa. Grade, Bilateria or Triploblastica. Division, protostomia. Subdivision, Schizophyllometa. Okay. Now, need to go with the scientific name. Okay, the scientific name Ferritima postum. So with this, I think we'll be able to answer all that particular questions that based on the kingdom based whatever the questions will come here on earthworm. That means what is the symmetry in earthworm?
Bilateral symmetry.
Bilateral
Belongs
symmetry.
to the great bilateria. That's why we say bilateral symmetry. And number of germ layers.
Three germ
Germ layer.
layers.
Germ layers. Okay, very good. Type of organization.
Organ
Organ
system.
system.
Yeah, organ system grade of organization. Okay, very good. Organ system grade of organization. Next, the fate of blastopore.
Mouth.
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 Fate of blastopore, mouth. Then type of cleavage.
Spiral and
Spiral.
determinate cleavage.
Type of cleavage, spiral and determinate. Type of cleavage is spiral and determinate type of cleavage is present here. Okay. Next, the type of embryo.
Mosaic
Mosaic
embryo.
embryo.
Mosaic embryo. Type of embryo, mosaic embryo. Bilateral symmetry, 3 germ layers, organ system grade of organization, and fate of blastopore is mouth. Type of cleavage is spiral and determinate. Type of embryo is that mosaic embryo. This is the primary information about because it belongs to the kingdom Animalia, subkingdom Eumetazoa, grade Bilateria or Triploblastica, division Protostomia, subdivision Schizophyllometa. So we'll write that also. What type of body cavity here? True body
True
cavity,
body cavity.
which we say it has eucoelomate condition, isn't it? Eucoelomate condition. We can say true body cavity or eucoelomate condition. What type of eucoelomate condition? That we can say that the true body cavity formed from the scattered mesodermal pouches or splitting of mesoderm. So that's why we say such kind of body cavity as Shageocoelom. Such body cavity we can say Shageocoelom. Okay. Then these are all as a common feature we are talking about the Peritima postuma, which all these particular characters shared by not only the here earthworm that all the members of the phylum Annelida. Okay, so why I am saying here there are some possibilities in the name. Previously, it was asked here the cockroach type of cleavage in cockroach. Likewise, hoping so the same question, the similar kind of question may come. That's why the same features we learned in the kingdom hierarchy. Here also we are learning in individual wise. Not only earthworm, any individual if they give, you will be able to answer because of kingdom hierarchy, which we learned earlier. Okay, so special activity, the features of the earthworm. We have to go for that first one. Earthworm belongs to the phylum Annelida, isn't it? Belongs to the phylum Annelida. Okay, so phylum Annelida. In that, annules means rings. Rings, that means segments. Okay, so the unique feature of this particular phylum Annelida is segments only. That particularly when it comes to the earthworm, in case of earthworm, the homonymous metameric segmentation is present. The type of segmentation in earthworm is called homonymous metameric segmentation. Okay, so let us analyze this. What is homonymous metameric segmentation? Okay, the each segment is said to be metamer. Okay, that each segment is called here metamer, and that metameres are equal in shape. That is the first thing here. That all the segments which are almost equal, we say homonymous metameric segmentation. Okay, and the particular earthworm, there are about 100 to 120 segments are present. Let me show you the earthworm. 100 to 120 segments are present. That we discussed earlier, the clitellum. In which segment the clitellum is present?
14, 15, 16.
Yeah, 14, 15, 16. The clitellum is present between 14, 15 and 16 segments. So nearly 100 to 120 segments are present here in case of earthworm. So based on the particular clitellum, that clitellum which is there in 14, 15, 16, based on the presence of clitellum, we are going to classify the earthworm as three portions. The body of of earthworm is classified into three portions. Number one, preclitellar region. Okay, so number one, preclitellar region. Number two, clitellar region. That means the region before the clitellum is called preclitellar region. The region itself, clitellum, is called clitellar region. Then post-clitellar region. Preclitellar region, clitellar region, and post-clitellar region. There are three regions are present. Then can you able to say the segments which preclitellar region present? Segments which preclitellar region get occupied. Okay, let us write clitellar region. That what is the clitellar region? 14,
14, 15,
15,
16.
16. What I am asking, then the segments which preclitellar region occupy.
13.
13.
Yeah,
15.
that's it. Simple. 1 to 13. Okay. So we said already, in case of earthworm, there are nearly 100 to 120 segments are present. Okay. Now you say the 14th, the post-clitellar region.
17 to
17
last.
to the end.
That's better.
17 to end.
How many are present? No matter. 100 or 120, but 17 to last. We can see. So that is based on the presence of clitellum. We classified it as three portions: pre-clitellar region, and post-clitellar region. Okay. Next, here the where earthworm lives. Now the question raises here: where earthworm lives? Earthworm lives on moist soil. So earthworm lives on moist soil. Okay, so that makes the burrows in the moist soil. For example, if you take the soil here, if you take the soil, so imagine this is so we are just showing the soil. Okay, so here it is going to make some burrows. Making burrows. How? That means with the help of the prostomium, we have to see what is prostomium. But first of all, let me fill the area with soil. Then after, it is going to make some burrows, like it digs the burrows, and there it is going to stay. Okay, earthworm is going to stay there in the burrows. Okay. Then in case of summer season, when water is not available, earthworm even go little more deeper into the burrows. Okay, so simply what I are saying, earthworm digs the burrows and and lives in the moist soil. Earthworm lives in the burrow in the moist soil. It is going to live. So, what is the first segment? The structure present in the first segment. Now onwards, you can see a crescentic aperture present on the first segment. Opening on the first segment. I think you can answer now.
Mouth.
Very good. Mouth.
Mouth.
Okay. So learning segments before will be great advantages for us in the coming days. So keep on learning the segments. That 10 days before we learn the segment because of this only. The segment which contain mouth, that the crescentic aperture, moonlight, crescentic aperture, we called it as mouth. Okay. Then this crescentic aperture is mouth. The segment which contain mouth is called peristomium. Peristomium. That you may know that stoma means mouth, isn't it? So before the mouth there is a pseudo segment present. We call it as prostomium. It is said to be as prostomium. Before the mouth there is a pseudo segment called prostomium. Okay, so why we are saying here? As we said, earthworm digs the burrows, isn't it? Let me draw the earthworm. So, how it digs the burrows? In the anterior part, this prostomium will become stiff. And with the help of that prostomium, it is going to make the burrows. That it is going to dig the burrows. So, that's what we are talking about. That it digs the burrows and with the help of that stiffness of the prostomium, a tongue-like projection. Okay, so that's the thing here. And coelomic fluid, which is present in the anterior region, also going to be one of the issues which will be helpful for this. Okay, that is earthworm habitat. So how it can be used for us? That we need to learn how it can be used for us. That earthworm is said to be farmer's friend. Earthworm is said to be as farmer's friend. Why? Farmer's friend. Why? We have some reasons. The first reason which we learned already now. That means what I said, earthworm digs the soil and makes burrows, isn't it? Earthworm digs the soil and makes burrows. That is one of the greatest advantage to the farmer, which that he used to do that for the plants, for aeration of the plants. He used to dig. Earthworms are digging. Earthworm digs the soil, which makes the burrows, are helpful for aeration of the plants. That means plants get aeration here. In general, we use it to here. Digging is a with a flow share the farmer will do in general, which that work is much helpful for the earthworm dig the soil, which makes the burrows, which will be helpful for the farmer. That is one of the reasons to say. Do you want to say anything here? Why the earthworm is said to be as farmer's friend? One of the reason we said we learned it now, that you may heard this before also. What may be the reason?
Improve soil fertility.
How? It increases the soil fertility. Very good. It's good to say, but how? How we have to learn here now? It increases the soil fertility by releasing worm castings. Worm castings. What is worm casting? That the fecal matter eliminated from earthworm. Earthworm used to eat the organic waste materials and whatever the organic waste materials, that undigested organic waste materials will come out as fecal pellets from the anus. They will be released out. Okay, so that what do you say? That worm casting, by releasing the worm casting, that earthworm excreta we are talking about, earthworm fecal matter, is going to be a very, very useful the fertilizer for natural fertilizer or organic fertilizer, we can say, worm casting. So with these only we are going to prepare vermicompost even, putting all the earthworms in one place and that along with the cow dung and other leafy decaying waste materials we collect and will put the earthworm over a period of time. They are going to prepare vermicompost even. that further special earthworms are present, like Utrilus eugeniae, Perionyx excavatus, Icenia fetida. These are the earthworms which will be used in the vermicompost farming by farmers. Whatever, you just remember it as it increases the soil fertility by releasing worm castings. Okay, so that is another feature we learned. Next, next, the these are the reasons to say as a farmer's friend. Earthworm is said to be as a farmer's friend. They make dig the burrows, and their particular soil, the fertility is going to be increased over. Okay, so the fertility is increased by releasing the worm castings in naturally by naturally. Okay, so then along with that. So along with that, we are going to make the production of the earthworm by using earthworm, the special earthworms we use it to say. By using earthworm, we are going to prepare the vermicompost also. Okay, that vermicompost also. Okay, so we have a small spell mistake here. That farmer. Okay, then let us get into the topic here. Let us get into the topic. What are the locomotory organelles of the earthworm? And what are the segments, external pores of the earthworm that we have to take care of it. So first of all, let me go with external pores. I don't think so. I have to put much effort here. That I think you people are learned very well and good. So just writing the name is my part. I think I'll get answer. Mouth.
First segment.
First segment.
Which we discussed it now only. Mouth, the first segment, and the segment which contain mouth is called
Peristonium.
Periosteum.
first segment is also called peristomium. Why? Because that it contains mouth. Peri means surround. Surround what? Mouth. So that's why the first segment is also called peristomium. In front of that, a tongue-like projection even we are seeing. That what is we said it as prostomium. Okay, next, anus.
Last segment.
Segment.
Last segment. Whatever the segment it is, that is in last segment. Next, nephridiopore.
Third segment.
Third segment to the last segment.
Nephridiopores are present from third segment to the last segment. Third segment to last segment. Nephridiopores. Okay, next, the dorsal pore.
From 12 by
From 12 to 13
segment
segment to the last segment.
12 by 13 segment onward. That means between the 12th and 13th segment, the dorsal pore starts onwards till the end. Onwards till the end, we'll find this particular till the end. Next, female genital pore.
14th ventromiddle.
Ventromiddle.
14th ventromiddle. 14th ventromiddle. Female genital pore is there on 14th ventromiddle. Okay. Next, male genital pore.
18th ventrolateral.
18th ventrolateral. Okay, pair. Next, genital papillae.
A pair in 17th and 19th.
Yeah, a pair in 17th and a pair in 19th. Two pairs of genital papillae are present. Spermathecal pore.
5
5
by
by 6, 6 by
6
7, 7 by 8, 8 by 9.
Between 5 and 6, 6 and 7, and 7 and 8, then 8 and 9. Okay, so these are the segments which they contain 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9. So that's it. These are the external pores of peridyma. Mouth, first segment, anus, last segment, nephridiopores on third segment to the last segment, dorsal pores from 12 by 13th segment onwards till the end, and the female genital pore on 14th ventromiddle, female genital pore on 14th ventromiddle, male genital pore 18th ventrolateral, genital papillae, a pair in 17th and a pair in 19. Spermatical form. 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9. Okay. So this is given an introduction. How does the earthworm perform locomotion? Yes, the locomotion is performed by setae. We need to say setae. Locomotory organelles here are excuse me. Locomotory organelles are called as setae. So let me show you the setae. How will they will be? That setae are S-shaped or sigmoid-shaped structures like this. Okay, so generally setae are present in the cetal sacs. Okay, so just what I drawn, that is cetal sacs. Setae are present in the cetal sacs or setigerous sacs, we use it to say, and the 1/3 portion of the setae only will come out, this portion, and the remaining portion of the setae, which won't come out here, the portion who came out is called neck. The swollen portion of the setae is called nodulus, and the basal portion is said to be the base, neck, nodulus, base. So this is the setae. Arrangement of setae. Based on the arrangement of setae, we can classify the earthworm into, we are not talking Peridiма. There are some other earthworms like Megascolex, Lumbricus, Dravida, various earthworms are there. So that's why based on the presence of setae, that we classify the particular earthworms into arrangement of the setae into based on the presence and arrangement of the setae. We classify the arrangement as lumbricine arrangement and periketine arrangement. We say it as lumbricine and periketine. Let me write it, then after I will show. Lumbricine arrangement, setae arrangement, lumbricine arrangement. Next, periketine arrangement. We said already that setae are also called ketae. Why it is called ketae? Because they are made up of chitin. That's why we say ketae. Okay, lumbricine arrangement. This is the earthworm, that whatever it is, either any of the earthworm we are talking about. So if the setae are present, 4 pairs only present. 4 pairs of setae are present. That is arranged on ventral and lateral sides. What do you call? Lumbricine arrangement. Imagine if the setae are present in large number and they are present surround the body. Peri means surround. We call such kind of arrangement as periketine arrangement. 4 pairs of setae that present here, that we say that earthworm is lumbricus. The British earthworm. Lumbricus contain 4 pairs of setae which are arranged on ventral and ventrolateral side. Ventral and ventrolateral side, we can say. Our Peridiма is with this particular. Peridima along with Megascolex. There are so many like Peridima, Megascolex, Dravida grandis said to be the smallest South Indian earthworm. Peridima is the North Indian earthworm. Okay, so Dravida grandis is the South Indian earthworm. So that here we are learning Peridima post. Okay. Next, as I said to you, Udrilus eugeniae, Perioninx excavators, Icenia fetida. These 3 are the earthworms helpful for the vermiculture. Okay. Then lumbricus is one more earthworm I introduced to you. Lumbricine arrangement, 4 pairs of setae arranged on ventral and ventrolateral side. Periketine, setae all over the body, if they are present, we call periketine arrangement. Okay. So I'm showing setae here, that the setae is having 3 portions. The exposed out portion called neck, and the swollen portion is nodulus, and the base is nodulus and base are there in cetal sac or setigerous sac. Setae are also called ketae. Why? Because they are made up of chitin. Setae are ketae, which they are made up of chitin. That's why we say it as ketae also. Okay. So that's the story of the locomotory structure. And along with this particular setae, longitudinal and circular muscles are also helpful for the locomotion. So we have to locate that longitudinal and circular muscles in case of earthworm. So that means I have to explain body wall, the muscles which are present in the body wall that we need to go through. So first of all, we start with the outermost layer of the particular earthworm, outermost layer, the cuticle we use it to say. The outermost non-cellular, iridescent, transparent, which is always moist, what do you call? Cuticle. Okay. So below the cuticle, we can see epidermis. Below the cuticle, there is a layer called epidermis. This is cuticle and this is epidermis. So below the epidermis, the muscle layer will get started out. Muscle layer. The longitudinal muscle, then circular muscles, all the muscles which are going to be from here on. Okay. So a circular muscle layer and a longitudinal muscle layer are present here. Circular muscles and longitudinal muscles are present. And below the longitudinal and circular muscles, will find that a small circular muscle strand, that muscle strand is present. I will show you the muscle strand, a circular muscle strand is present. Again, one more, that means the innermost layer of the body wall. Finally, we say parietal peritoneum. Parietal peritoneum, circular muscle strand, then parietal peritoneum. Now, talking about the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal begins with visceral peritoneum, visceral peritoneal layer. Okay, so visceral peritoneum is present in alimentary canal. So this is visceral peritoneum. See, in between the parietal peritoneum and visceral peritoneum, whatever the body cavity present, that is called coelom, and that's why we call this as parietal peritoneum as outer parietal peritoneum, visceral peritoneum as inner peritoneum. Here again, muscles. Then first the longitudinal muscles will be present. Then after the circular muscles are present. Then after that alimentary canal, typhlosolar region, which I am showing here, with a dorsal fold. That only one single fold is present. Dorsal fold that we call typhlosolar region. Let me label this. Let me label this. So what is the outermost layer? We said the outermost layer is cuticle. The outermost layer is said to be cuticle. Below the cuticle, a transparent that cellular layer, columnar epithelial layer, we can say epidermis. Okay. So below that, circular muscles are present. Okay. Next, the longitudinal muscles are present. Longitudinal muscle. So below the longitudinal muscles, need to increase weight. Below the longitudinal muscle, a circular muscle strand is there again. Circular muscle strand. Okay, next, parietal peritoneum. We can say it as parietal peritoneum. Innermost layer of body wall. We can say parietal peritoneum. Okay, next, outermost layer of alimentary canal is called visceral peritoneum. One of the best example to show the true body cavity. Okay, so parietal peritoneum and visceral peritoneum. Also, we can say it as parietal peritoneum is also called outer coelomic epithelium. Outer coelomic epithelium, we can say it as. Or somatic layer, if you remember, we learned it this in earlier. So next, what do you call the visceral peritoneum as? Inner coelomic epithelium. Visceral peritoneum as inner coelomic epithelium. Okay, so outer coelomic epithelium, inner coelomic epithelium. Whatever that cuticle, epidermis, circular muscle, longitudinal muscle, circular muscle strand. Till that place, what do you say that as body wall? Till that place, we call it as body wall. So the sequence of the body wall to be remembered over the sequence of the body wall, that first cuticle, and next the epidermis, next circular muscles, then longitudinal muscles, then circular muscle strand. So till here we say body wall. Then next after that, gut. We use it to say gut or elementary canal. Layers of the gut, visceral peritoneum, then longitudinal muscles. Here it is, longitudinal muscle, then circular muscles, longitudinal, circular muscles. Let me change the color, you'll understand. Here it is. Longitudinal muscles. Next, circular muscle. Means elementary canal is also muscular. That you need to understand. Which we said in case of previous phylum, Nematoda, their elementary canal is non-muscular, isn't it? So, longitudinal muscle, circular muscle, and typhlosal. Typhlosal are reason, intestine. There's in between the parietal peritoneum and visceral peritoneum, that body cavity is present, coelom, which is filled with coelomic fluid, Okay, so this is the story of the transverse section of the body. Well, our said Setae will be accommodated here itself. You remember the Setae will be accommodated here itself. And if you remember that cuticle, we said respiration and anilda with the cuticle. So that means epidermis, in some of the epidermal cells are glandular cells, which secrete the mucus, which the mucus always maintain the cuticle moist, and that moist cuticle, which will be helpful for the respiration. Moist cuticle helpful for the respiration. Okay, that's the story of body wall. And the body wall containing muscles, longitudinal and circular muscles, and our said setae. These setae are helpful for the locomotion. These are helpful for locomotion. Okay, so let's talk about the peritima postuma. As we said it now, the peritima postuma, detailed learning we are doing now. Earthworm, we use it to say commonly, earthworm is a reddish brown terrestrial invertebrate that inhabits the upper layers of the moist soil, rich in decaying organic matter. That is the habitat. Earthworm is nocturnal. That means active during nighttime, inactive during daytime. We say nocturnal. It lives in the burrows made by the burrowing habitat is present in the earthworm, that by boring and swallowing the soil with the help of prostomium, it makes bores that soil and will go inside. In gardens, they can be traced by their fecal deposits. We call them as worm castings, which are very, very good biofertilizers. We use it to say. They are considered as friends of farmers. The common Indian earthworms are said to be Peritima lumbricus, Megascolix, Dravida grandis. Dravida grandis of the South India is the longest earthworm. Dravida grandis is the longest earthworm. Ketogaster anondali is the smallest earthworm. Dravida grandis is the longest, and Ketogaster anondali is the smallest earthworm. Megascolidis australis is the longest earthworm in the world. Okay, so Megascolidis australis. Here we are to learn about the Peritima postuma, which has a long cylindrical body, which is divided into 100 to 120 segments. These segments we call metameres. The dorsal surface of the body is marked by a dark mid-dorsal line. That how do we recognize the dorsal side or ventral side? On the dorsal side, we can see a dark midline, which is called dorsal blood vessel. With that, we can say the dorsal side. Or else we have another identification point. All reproductive pores are on ventral side only. In the 14th segment, if you see female genital pore, or in the 18th male genital pore, genital papillae, if you look, you can understand that is on ventral side. That means all reproductive related pores are present on ventral side. Dorsal side, that if you see that you can see a black marking, you'll find a dorsal, what do you call the dorsal blood vessel, the black marking, dorsal blood vessel is. By that time we can recognize it. Cylindrical body, that's it is a very difficult to recognize that particular dorsal and ventral. Okay, so some that features we are learning. The ventral surface of the body shows genital aperture, as we discussed now. Anterior end bears a lobe which serves as a covering for the mouth. That is prostomium. Stoma, mouth, prostomium. That means a segment which is present before the mouth. But we said mouth containing segment only first segment, isn't it? That means this is not segment, prostomium, which is not a true segment. And just like a tongue-like projection, overhangs the oral aperture. Okay, the prostomium where some sensory receptors are present. Above on the prostomium, some sensory receptors are present. Okay. Then the first body segment is called peristomium. The first body segment, peristomium or buccal segment, we can say, which surrounds the mouth. Okay, which it surrounds the mouth and also the prostomium. Okay. Next, in mature worm, the segments 14 to 16 are covered by a prominent dark band of glandular tissue called clitellum or cingulum. Is it to say clitellum or cingulum? The body is divisible into three prominent regions based on the clitellum: preclitellar, clitellar, and postclitellar. What we discussed now: preclitellar 1 to 13, clitellar 14, 15, 16, postclitellar that the 17th to last till the end. You can see four pairs of spermathecal apertures are situated on the ventrolateral sides of the intersegmental groove. What is intersegmental groove? Between the two segments. Which segment? 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9. That between the intersegmental grooves of, okay, so intersegmental grooves of 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9, that what are present? Spermathecal pores are present. Spermathecal pores. A single female genital pore is present on the mid-ventral line of the 14th segment. A pair of male genital pores is present on the ventrolateral sides of the 18th segment. Numerous minute pores called nephridiopores open on the surface of the body from the third segment to the last segment. In each body segment except the first and last and clitellum. First segment except the first, last and clitellum in mature worms. There are rows of S-shaped chitinous setae or setae are embedded in the epidermal pits as I shown to you now. That cetal or setigerous sacs, we can say, in the middle of each segment. Setae can be produced, protruded or retracted. They play an important role in locomotion. Protruded, which will come out, retracted, which will go in back again. So that along with the muscles, they are helpful for the locomotion. This is the story of introduction and peridyma. In this paragraph, you have to learn the segment external pores here, but we learned already. We have a table that I request you to memorize that as long as we are going with earthworm. So today we go up to anatomy. The body wall of earthworm is covered externally by a thin non-cellular cuticle, below which is the epidermis, as I shown in the diagram. The two muscle layers, outer circular, inner longitudinal, and the innermost layer, which is called outer coelomic epithelium, which is called parietal peritoneum. The sequence that once you try to watch in the diagram again, that the sequence will be helpful to you, that this kind of sequence I made it: cuticle, then epidermis, circular muscle, longitudinal muscle. This is not mentioned, but there in earthworm. circular muscle strand, then parietal peritoneum. Okay. Then after that, that is the sequence in the body wall. Okay. Coelomic epithelium. That the epidermis, here we have to start. The epidermis is made up of a single layer of columnar epithelial cells which contain secretory glandular cells. As I shown to you, they are helpful for the secretion of mucus. These are the single glandular cells. Epidermis is a single layer and it contains glandular cells. Okay, you see here that in the epidermal pits, the setae along with the setal sacs are accommodated. Oh, okay, okay. A wrong place. Again. Okay, the body wall of earthworm. Okay, we came up to here. The epidermis is made up of single layer of columnar epithelial cell which contains secretory glandular cells. The coelomic epithelium is derived from the mesoderm. The coelomic epithelium derived from mesoderm and consists of outer parietal layer, inner splanchnic or visceral layer. Imagine and memorize that coelom chapter. We learned. The space between the body wall and alimentary canal is called coelom or perivisceral cavity. It is a sphygoscoelom and divided into compartments by septa filled with coelomic fluid. We know the internal segmentation is there in earthworm. That internal segmentation we call septa. Okay, the coelomic fluid provides hydrostatic skeleton. Fluid itself acts as a skeleton, the hydrostatic skeleton for the earthworm during locomotion. For the earthworm during locomotion. So this is the introductory portion of earthworm. And in the next class we continue with the digestive system of